Hey there, friends. My name is Derek, and this is 3-Minute Thoughts. Each weekday, we slow down and look at another chapter of the New Testament, with just enough time built in to understand what's happening and then to give some thought to what it might mean for our lives today. This morning, we're in Luke chapter 5. This chapter is really about ordinary people being pulled into something bigger than they could expect. It starts with fishermen. Jesus is teaching near the lake, and the crowd is pressing in so tightly that he steps into Simon's boat. He'll be called Peter later on. And then he starts teaching from the water. When he's done, he tells Simon to go out into the deep water and lower the nets. Simon pushes back a little. He basically says, "We've been fishing all night and we've caught nothing. What makes this morning any different?" But then he adds something interesting. "Well, because you say so, I will let down the nets." And suddenly, the nets are full. So full, as a matter of fact, that they start breaking. Simon realizes something bigger is happening. His response is not exactly excitement, it's humility. He says, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." Okay, Lord there is master, teacher, important person, not Lord as in Savior. But anyway, he recognizes Jesus is somebody special. But Jesus doesn't push Peter away. He says, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." In other words, your life is about to take a new direction. A little later, Jesus calls Levi. He's a tax collector, someone working for the Roman system who often seen as a corrupt and untrustworthy kind of a person. Levi leaves his booth and throws a huge dinner party. And the guest list? Other tax collectors, people the religious crowd avoided at all costs. Predictably, the religious leaders complain. Things like, "Why is Jesus eating with people like this?" But Jesus' answer is simple. It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but rather the sick. Then the chapter ends with a short teaching about new wine and old wineskins. The idea is that new things require new containers. Old structures sometimes cannot hold what's coming next. Our way of thinking is doing the same thing the same way gets you the same results. So sometimes a new container is needed. And that thread connects the whole chapter. Jesus isn't building a movement out of the most impressive people. He's calling fishermen, tax collectors, outsiders, people who probably didn't imagine themselves being part of anything sacred. Which raises a pretty honest question for you and me. A lot of people assume faith or purpose is for people who already have their lives figured out. But Luke 5 says the opposite. The invitation often comes in the middle of ordinary life, at work, in routine, in the middle of people who feel like unlikely candidates. Simon was cleaning nets. Levi was sitting in a tax desk, and that's when everything shifted. So maybe today's question isn't, am I qualified? It's, am I open if something meaningful shows up in the middle of my ordinary life? That's it for today. Be well, friends.